food manufacturers put in so much sugar into foods in any proportion that they can, because it hits the dopamine center 6 times more addictive, or up to sometimes some people say more than even 10 times more addictive than crack cocaine. It hits the dopamine center, it sends a pleasure sensation to the brain, and it makes you want to go back for more and more and more. So they sneak it into foods. Hello and welcome to Sweet Liberation. Today's episode in my kitchen, we have just finished an epic bake-off.
It's been amazing. It was a 10-minute recipe.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes to cook, but we managed to stretch the whole thing out about an hour. Talking and having fun.
And eating.
And eating.
We made these amazing Jamie Oliver inspired sugar-free brownies with a peanut butter in the middle, and they are just unbelievable with a hot chocolate lava. They were amazing. They were epic. We had so much fun.
It was great. It was great making them. It was great. The improv.
Yes, the improv. So
in the kitchen, shuffling the things in, which always sometimes the best things come out of that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it was chaos in the kitchen, but it was all good fun. And I think that was the important thing. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about cake. This is our episode today, the heart and soul of Zukr, actually, cake, and why cake plays such an important part in what we're trying to achieve here, and why are we always so obsessed with cake? What's the story behind cake? Do you want to start us or kick us off on that?
Yes, well, I think we've always said that in order to make change, make it fun, right? Exactly. So one of the things, our mission is to, transform the world away from the awful white stuff, sugar, that is so addictive, so toxic, robs the body of nutrients, interferes with your pancreas and your blood sugar levels, damages your teeth, and is so addictive, and everybody knows it's causing us to go back for more and more and more. Yes. And of course, it doesn't seem as though any of the big organizations and the big food manufacturers want to stop us going back to the shops for those sweet treats, does it?
No. Absolutely not. That's the thing. And I think, we talked about it before on this podcast, and we've talked about it with experts from across the world about the reason that food manufacturers put in so much sugar into foods in any proportion that they can, because it hits the dopamine center 6 times more addictive, or up to sometimes some people say more than even 10 times more addictive than crack cocaine. It hits the dopamine center, it sends a pleasure sensation to the brain, and it makes you want to go back for more and more and more. So they sneak it into foods. And we are on a mission to help people get away from sugar. But then the idea of getting away from the foods that you love, it's just too painful for quite a lot of people, isn't it?
It is very hard. And we've always said that, and everybody know, a lot of people know that diets don't work because you're on a sort of this thing about failing. And then people say, oh, you're not trying that again and things. So we've moved totally away from that. And also we see what we're doing is a stepping stone to reducing the amount of sugar. Even if you made an initial step and cut back 50%, that's a big win.
Absolutely. So it's not about, for us, I think, the thing that we're trying to achieve here, and the reason that cake is so central to our entire message, is bringing the fun, bringing families together, and the idea that's really evolved around joyful living. What does it mean to make these changes? None of these changes, as far as we're concerned, should feel like it's a difficult thing to achieve. We want to make it so easy and so effortless. And so cake is really at the center of that. And it's what makes people smile. We're smiling right now. This kitchen smells of smelling.
Beautiful of those brownies. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And so I thought to myself earlier on that I wanted to just do a very quick podcast on what is our top 10 favorite Zukr recipes are.
Yes. Hey, Sweet Liberation viewers and listeners, we're really excited about an event that we've got coming up, the 3-day sugar-free challenge. We're really excited about it because we're going to be able to give you all the tools that you need on your sugar-free journey. So with that said, love you and leave you for now, and back to the episode. This is a top 10 compilation by Luke himself. And so let's take it from...
So in number 10... coffee and walnut.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we've explained the reason why cake is so important, these are occasions that we will make these cakes.
Yes.
Now, the last time I made coffee and walnut cake, I believe was for a birthday, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And it was by request,
Yeah.
Luke himself, that said, it's such an old-fashioned cake in the UK. I don't know how many other countries have it. I never tasted coffee and walnut cake until I'd come to the UK as a child. And it's one of my favorites. The combination of the slight bitterness of the walnuts and the slight bitterness of the coffee, and then the sweetness of the kind of the buttercream icing with a coffee in it is delicious. And I made one without any sugar. How was it?
It was amazing. We were eating it for breakfast, I seem to remember. Do you remember? We were having it with coffee in the morning as,
Yeah, it was
meal replacement.
Oh my God. I mean, why would you not? I mean, it was delicious.
Fantastic.
And did it taste like it had no sugar in it?
No, you would have thought it had sugar. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So good. So and yeah, it was just, you couldn't tell that it didn't have sugar. And I would have said it would have been, any professional cake maker would have been very proud of that.
Yeah, it was moist as well. It was moist and moorish. So that's the number 10. So
I'm in at number 9, tiramisu.
Oh, right.
Do you remember that? Tiramisu?
Remember, I've made it for you a few times, and we've made it and put it onto our social media channels. And people have loved it, and people have always asked us, recipe, please. So the tiramisu has a few stages. Now, there's the cheat way of doing it, which is cutting back on the sugar. If we're doing it the cheat way, we should cover that. I'll do the both options, right? So the cheat way is not completely reducing all the sugar in it, because you're going to go and buy the fudge. The fingers, the sponge fingers. But they're actually not that sweet, so I'm not too worried about that. So you've reduced the sugar in this tiramisu by at least 50% by doing it. So you'll go and buy the sponge fingers, and then I have the entire recipe. You soak them in very good coffee. You always use good coffee for making tiramisu. Some people add full alcohol into it. We don't, but people do. And then masala wine is actually masala wine is actually the traditional one. We make it without, and people enjoy it without. So that's optional. And then you layer the sponge fingers soaked in the masala in the coffee. You make a beautiful, creamy, delicious paste with. I make this gorgeous tiramisu cream with mascarpone and a little bit of cream, and then I whip it together with the Zukr, powdered Zukr, and lots of really good quality vanilla. You cannot skimp on this. And traditionally as well, in some parts of Italy, they will use the egg yolk. And I've actually gone to people's houses in Italy where they've used egg white. I don't like it with the egg white. It makes it too fluffy for me.
Okay.
But I like it just with the egg yolk. And then that is a very traditional tiramisu. You layer it up, and then on the top, you have the grated dark chocolate, or you can use powdered cocoa. And it's a showstopper.
On the top layer would be the mascarpone, right?
Mascarpone.
Is that flavoured at all?
Yes, I said with a little bit of vanilla, good quality vanilla, the Zukr to sweetness, and I actually like it not too sweet. So overall, if you use the sponge fingers, you reduce the sugar by half. But if you want to go one step further, go completely sugar-free, if you have diabetes or anything like that, and you just want to be really healthy, then you would make the sponge yourself with Zukr, and then you leave it to cool, and then you use that. And to be honest, it's spectacular and good that you would probably not, once you've eaten it that way, you don't want to go back to the sponge fingers thing, because it's just so delicious to make your own sponge. It doesn't take a long time, 10-15 minutes to cook. You can put it into a Victoria sponge tray so it cooks really, really quickly. Take it out, cut it, soak it in the coffee, same again, rinse and repeat, and then put the mascarpone on the top. And then it needs to set in the fridge for a good few hours. I say the longer you leave it, the better, and overnight is even better. That's an absolute showstopper. It gets better the next day. So it's amazing. So love that one.
I do. I love it. Yeah. So in at number 8 is the famous lemon drizzle cake.
The lemon drizzle cake. So lemon drizzle is one of my favorites because I love the combination of the zingy lemon with the sweetness of the Zukr, and in this case. And then what I like to do is sprinkle like a topping over the top. As actually, I can't even describe how the cake is made. I like to make it in a loaf tin. That's my favorite way of making it. You can make it in a Victoria sponge, but I like the loaf tin. It takes longer to cook. And the one that you've tried, I made, which was gluten-free, flour-free, and I made it with a ground almond flour instead of standard flour. So it had no gluten in it whatsoever and very low carbohydrate. And then I made that in the oven. I baked it and I put a little bit, I always like to add a teeny bit of yogurt into the mixture. It just makes it more moist. I cooked it and then I made towards the end of the cooking process, I put it on, actually it comes out of the oven and it's still hot. And then I make little, basically little holes as a skewer all the way up and down. And I make a really lovely syrup with a beautiful lemon. Sicilian lemons are the best. Sicilian lemons, a little bit of lemon rind, and then some Zukr, powdered Zukr. And I make a little syrup, really quite a strong syrup, and then I drizzle that over the top. It soaks into the sponge as it cools down, and my mouth is watering.
Wow.
And then for you, the one I made for you, it was actually had my favorite cheesecake topping.
Oh.
The cheesecake topping is the showstopper because it goes, I make a cheesecake topping with lemon in it, with lemon juice in it, and it's the contrast of the buttery, creamy topping with the sharpness of the sponge drizzled with lemon, making my mouth water right now. It's a showstopper. You loved it, didn't you?
Yeah, I loved it. And the other thing I would like to try or experiment with is if there was a way of making like a hard sort of lemon and Zukr crust.
Yes.
That then recrystallizes, that breaks up.
It does do that. So when you leave it to cool like that, because the drizzle that you make over the top is actually quite high in the Zukr.
Right.
As it sets, it slightly crystallizes and it makes it like punch.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is amazing.
Well, that one you've got to promise to make again.
I will make again.
So that was number 7. That was number 8, lemon drizzle cake. Number 7, Victoria sponge with a cheesecake topping.
Victoria sponge? No, not the cheesecake topping. I have to be puritanical. Victoria sponge must be only cream.
I see.
At this point, I mean, cheesecake topping for me, I could have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. On this occasion, it has to be pure cream. A very puritanical in it, Victoria sponge. So the Victoria sponge that I make, which is the sugar-free version, doesn't have any jam. But again, if you just do want to use jam and reduce it.
What about very ripe strawberries?
Yes, so I'll talk to you about that in a moment. So the Victoria sponge I make doesn't have jam. You can, of course, use sugar-free jams. There are quite a few different things, but I actually like to make my own kind of, it's almost like a puree with the strawberries. And the Zukr, and then I make like a coulis with them, and quite a high concentration of Zukr. I make the Victoria sponge, and then I layer up this beautiful coulis with lots of the Zukr in it, so it's really sweet, just like a jam, but it isn't a jam. And then I put then the layer of whipped cream, slightly sweetened. I don't want it completely unsweetened, with the Zukr. And then the sponge, the next layer will be the top layer of the Victoria sponge, and then more cream on the top, and then decorated with the strawberries on the top.
Sounds fantastic.
Oh, my mouth is watering. Now all this chocolate and vanilla.
Right in half. Yeah. So the next in number 6, lemon cheesecake.
Oh well,
you made that last week on the bake-off. The baked one on the bake-off, you know?
Yes, last week I made an unbaked one, which was
the
emergency cheesecake. So you've got 2 levels of cheesecake. I'm going to talk about the emergency one for now.
Talk about emergency.
Emergency one for now is unbaked, which is for the time that you need cheesecake right now. And there are a lot of people in the world that will understand what I'm talking about. It's an emergency situation. It has to happen right now. So soft cheese, whatever soft cheese you can get your hands on. I like mascarpone with some soft cheese in it, something like Philadelphia. Whatever you can get your hands on. And I mix that with a little bit of cream. I would say 1/3 cream, 2/3 cream cheese, and then add the Zukr, powdered Zukr to it with good quality vanilla. And then I squeeze the lemons in and put a bit of the rind in, mix it all up. whip it until it forms stiff, peaks. And then the base is easy peasy lemon squeezy. It is ground nuts. Grind them in a smoothie maker, and then add some melted butter with a little bit of zucchar into a pan. Mix the nuts in until they form like a crumble. Put them on the bottom of a dish. Add the cream topping. Leave it in the fridge or the freezer if it's a real emergency, and then delight. And then you will cry from deliciousness. The base was yummy.
The base was absolutely amazing.
It's a showstopper, and it's a good one if you've got emergency guests.
Yes.
So emergency guests is a good one.
Now, tell me about Zukr brownies in at number 5.
Has the only...
Oh, sorry, no, it's Zukr pancakes. Brownies are red load out.
Right,
okay, Zukr pancakes.
Zukr pancakes, amazing. A really standard pancake batter. So if you're going for gluten-free, you'd use gluten-free flour. You can actually make them with almond flour as well. I have made them flourless or with flour. Or, to be honest, some people are not intolerant to gluten. Go for gluten, whichever is your preference. And you like them thin. I like them thick. We have to, we can make everybody happy. Thin pancakes. So let's talk about the thin ones because you like the crepes.
I like the crepes.
So make it slightly thin crepes. And then you like with the delicious granulated zucchar over them, hot granulated zucchar and a squeeze of lemon juice rolled into a tight roll. That's your favorite. Yes. And then you go and eat it.
I cut it up like a crepe.
Yes, you don't. That's not my way of eating pancakes. My pancakes are different. I like the thicker pancakes and I like them stacked up. And I like a Scotch pancake, they call them. And or American pancakes, same. And so I like them a bit thicker. And then because I like maple syrup and I can't have it because we're not eating sugar. You can have some maple syrup sometimes. It's okay occasionally. But if you're diabetic or on a low GI diet, you can't. So I've actually made a syrup, which was delicious, using warm zucchar. So you could use a zucchar from the kettle, so not warm, but boiling zucchar. So boiling water into a little mug. Add some zucchar until it becomes quite sweet, I would say, like a syrup. So you probably want to use almost like for like. So if you use 2 or 3 tablespoons of boiling water, about 2 tablespoons of zucchar, mix it all in together, add a little butter in there, mix it all in together till the butter melts, add some cinnamon, drizzle over the top of the pancakes, squirty cream.
Brilliant.
Happy days.
Okay, good. Cookies. Now, we made some Zukr cookies.
Zukr cookies. So let's talk about Zukr cookies. I made some cookies. I've made lots of cookies, but these ones are show-stopping delicious, and they are almond cookies because they have no flour and they take about 2 minutes to make. So fast. Melted butter, ground almonds, some zucchar for sweetness, and then I like to add. It depends if do you fancy cinnamon cookie today? Add some cinnamon to it. No, I don't fancy cinnamon. I want chocolate. Some cocoa powder. So you just go with whatever you're feeling. And this is a good breakfast, by the way, because it's really delicious. Big to have with a coffee. And then, so I mix, let's say the cinnamon ones, mix them up. And then as they're about to go on the tray to go in the oven, I sprinkle some zucchar over the top. I sprinkle some cinnamon over the top. They go into the oven. They intoxicate the house with the smell of cinnamon. They come out, your mouth is drooling, you have your hot coffee, you eat the whole tray.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Now, I'm going to throw you a slight curveball here because in at number 3, actually, is a Christmas cake. Now, that will be with a marzipan from almond and zucchar. So I'm throwing that into you with some brownies through.
No, what we would say, now, I would say a Christmas cake, which is very much an English tradition.
It's like a fruit cake. Dundee cake.
Again, English tradition.
Dundee.
Most people in the world don't eat that. But yes, but it's very British day. Mm-hmm. So I would say for anybody on a low GI diet or who's diabetic, I wouldn't be recommending to have that because of the dried fruit actually very high in sugar.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be recommending. But for people who are just thinking, right, I want to just reduce a bit of the sugar in the normal, I would just use your favorite fruitcake recipe and substitute the zucchar the sugar for Zukr. Marzipan, I haven't tried yet.
Okay.
And I think we may have to do some modification to the recipe because the crystallization that happens and Christmas cakes need to sit around for a long time.
Right.
No, I would say that one's a high risk.
Yeah.
You can give it a try. But anyway, anybody who's watching this who is on a low GI diet, probably stay away from the Dundee cakes and the fruit cakes. Sorry.
In at number 2 is the chocolate brownies.
Show-stoppingly good. Guys, these smell so amazing. The kitchen is intoxicated with this smell. I got these
Rich.
I have to say, and let me tell you what other story about these brownies. So today we did a sugar-free bake-off. We had so much fun, but there was chaos in the kitchen, and I was leaning into the chaos because the fact is that busy parents, busy people in the world, life is chaotic. So the more chaotic it is for us, and the easier we could show that how even despite things, there wasn't everything in the cupboard that we were hoping there would be. We still were able to create show-stoppingly good brownies. So these were supposed to have pecans in. These are Jamie Oliver. We have done our own version of the Jamie Oliver vegan brownies. And they were supposed to have pecans. I thought I had pecans. There were no pecans. So we used peanut butter instead of the pecans, sugar-free peanut butter, no seed oils added. And these are probably the best brownies I have ever made. They are so good. They're gooey in the middle, crumbly on the outside, and crunchy. They are perfection. And then I made this lovely hot chocolate lava to go over the top. I've just sent some up to my mum. She went, "Oh my God, what have you done? I can't wait to have the..." So she's going to enjoy those, and I'm sure we get a great reaction. They are amazing. And we have been told by friends that we're going to save some for them this week because they're going to be really upset if we don't save them. These are show-stoppingly delicious, gooey, crunchy, nutty, yummy.
They are delicious.
And Jamie Oliver recipe.
Jamie Oliver recipe, slightly tweaked because he did the gluten-free flour.
Yeah.
Substitute, took all the sugar out.
Yeah.
And we made it with, they are sugar-free because they are about 3%, aren't they? Sugar, which actually qualifies them as being.
Yeah, so anything in the UK below 5% sugar, it can be called, I think, sugar-free, unless they've changed the law recently. I almost hope that they have because I think we should be lower than that. But it's a small percentage, and I think they still fit. The reason it still has a little teeny bit of sugar is because we use 70% chocolate.
90%.
Sorry, 90% chocolate. So that means only the 200 grams and be less than 10 grams in total of sugar over a recipe which was over 300 grams in total. So it's a very small percentage.
Around 3%.
And the cocoa itself actually has a naturally occurring sugar which doesn't count towards your sugar count.
Yeah.
But if you are, this would still be fine if you are on a low GI diet, or if you're diabetic, because of the type of, it's actually slow release anyway, because of the cocoa itself and the chocolate. Nice. So absolute show-stoppingly delicious, so fast. And I brought them out in a rustic way, straight out of the oven onto this, chopping board. And this is exactly how you do if you had a dinner party. Just bring them out of the oven. Everyone would just be show-stopping, and it was amazing. I'm drizzled with a hot chocolate lava.
So
what could be better?
They're very, very good.
Next,
the suspense.
The suspense.
In at number 1, it has to be, drum roll, strawberry cupcakes with strawberry sprinkles.
So these cupcakes have gone mega viral. They've got a life of their own. I think they're going to need their own Instagram page and possibly a manager and an agent.
I think so.
They've gone viral. People have loved them. Everybody wants them. And the thing is about these cupcakes is that nobody can ever tell that they are sugar-free.
Yeah.
They are amazing. They fulfill every fantasy of cake eaters that could possibly ever be. They're not too sweet, but they're sweet. They are delicious and sweet. The sponge is moist and delicious. The topping is creamy and yummy. And then you've got the strawberry sharpness of the strawberries with the strawberry sprinkles on the top. They are beautiful to look at. stunning to eat. And we took them. The best story about this is when it was the Queen's Jubilee, the late Queen's Jubilee. We took them out to all of our key workers, didn't we?
We did. We popped to the A&E, didn't we? We popped to the fire station. We popped to the air ambulance. Delivered boxes of these for people to have, for the workers to have during their tea breaks, because they were working. In fact, it was just after lockdown.
Yeah.
And we dropped them in, and yeah, you know what it's like. You can't, if you haven't got 2 minutes really to grab, have you, when you're working as a key worker.
That's right.
In fact, actually, my favourite thing was that actually almost trumped that was when we did that charity event for the local fete, and the cakes just went. All of the sugary cakes sat there, and people kept buying the sugar-free. They
disappeared.
Yeah.
And they kept lining up and arguing with us that they did have sugar in. Obviously they don't.
And they went amazing. They went amazingly. So I mean, for me, the reason that was so much better in some ways than, you know, obviously our key workers appreciated them, but the proof in the pudding, it was the people coming back to buy them more and more. And they kept, and I think one lady had about 5. We're almost meant to say, look, one cake per customer.
Yeah. So I mean, we loved it, and I think the thing that makes me most happy, having worked in the service industry when I was in my teens, and then working kind of still in the service industry in healthcare, really still taking care of people. The thing that I love most is watching people's reaction. When you cook something beautiful for them, their faces, the joy, the happiness, and that's the thing that we're all about. We're a joyful brand, aren't we?
Yeah, having fun and putting pleasure into everybody's mouths.
Into everybody's lives. That's the thing. So joyful living, happy living is sustainable. And, you know, feeling healthy should feel good.
Yeah. And once you get on the journey, you'll find that other areas within your life will start to snowball in terms of this health journey.
Exactly.
That's what we want to get people engaged with. Yeah. And joining part of the community.
Yes.
So we can help you on your journey and suggest tips and tricks.
Absolutely. I think that's the key, is that we're sharing, we're learning, we're evolving. And this isn't like a fixed thing, because we are still evolving. We're still like, now we've done this. The sense of achievement is like, now I've given up sugar and it's so easy. What else could I do?
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, now I've achieved that. What else can I do to feel better, to look better, to feel happier, to feel that wellness, that well-being? It's a journey that just is never ending in a really good way. It's not like overwhelming, oh my God, this is never going to end. It's the opposite. It's like, what else could I do? It's the enthusiasm and the happiness comes into your life when you realize what you can achieve. And when it's so much fun.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and that's the best bit. So with that said, do you have any last words that you want to say?
Make the brownies, get the recipe, make the brownies. I know they didn't win, and I know some of you are going to be disappointed that they came in at number 2. But if you want the recipe for these, let's try and get these going viral, because they could, in my view, is if everybody gets behind these, we could actually topple those
the viral cupcakes
with the brownies. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, let's see with the I mean, the strawberry cupcakes may end up having, as I said, their own show, their own agent, their own manager, because they've become divas in their own personalities. But these bad boys are just too good to be true. And we'd like to tell Jamie Oliver about these.
I think
it's a Jamie recipe. We're really proud that we've been able to do something which is so equally delicious as his recipe, and improve on it, I think, by making them sugar-free. That kids love these cakes. That's the thing that makes me so enthusiastic about continuing this journey, is the children. The impact we can have on children just by reducing sugar by 10, 20, 30% would be an amazing achievement. And Jamie, I think, will help us to do that by having amazing recipes that we can sugar hack.
Sugar hack.
We'll sugar hack your recipes, Jamie. Maybe Nigella's next. Who's next?
I think Nigella. Too much sugar in her.
Yeah, sugar. So now, Nigella, we're going to sugar hack you, and Jamie, we're on your foot on your heels, sugar hacking and taking sugar out of your amazing recipes. So with that said, people should subscribe to the Sweet Revolution newsletter. Keep updated on all of our recipes. Lots of recipes every week. We share recipes, fun ideas. And
our app, I mean, in the App Store and on Google Play Store, the Sweet Liberation app. You can even Google the Zukr find out about what we're doing and where we are and what sort of cakes we're going to be baking live. And you can bake a lot.
Exactly. And if you want to know about the sugar-free bake-off, then subscribe to the Sweet Revolution newsletter. You'll get updates about the next sugar-free bake-off. We'll be doing them all through the summer and probably for the rest of the year. But you're going to need to keep updated on the dates because they're happening throughout the year. So with that said, make sure you subscribe to the Sweet Revolution newsletter by going to sweetliberation.co.uk, and we'll keep you updated on the next sugar-free bake-off, all of our recipes, our live events, and possibly in-person events coming at some point.
That'd be great.
So near you. With that said, we'll love you and leave you now and see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.